Okay. 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 When I hear myself. Hold on. Hi everyone, just started. Okay. Okay. When I hear myself. Hold on. Hi everyone, just started. Okay. Okay. Hold on, I'm echoing. Hold on. Hi everyone, just started. Okay. Okay. Hold on, I'm echoing. Hold on. Hi everyone, started. Okay. Okay. Hold on, I'm echoing. Hold on. Hi everyone, started. Okay. Okay. Hold on, I'm echoing. Hold on. I'll just mute myself. Okay, hi everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. My delay is so bad. Hold on. Why is it so bad? Odd. Why is there a delay? That's okay. Okay, let me see how many people are streaming or watching. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. As we wait another like 2 minutes for people to start trickling in, I am also to get ready for the tool. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. For the two of you that are watching, are you tuning in from California or where are you guys tuning in from? You guys could write in the chat. Alrighty. Wait a few more minutes. Let's see. Okay. We're gonna wait 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Okay, we're just gonna get started because we have a lot to cover. Okay, so this is actually my first time doing a live stream for something like this, so bear with me, guys. So I have some slides here that could give you a brief agenda of what the live stream is going to be like. So let me see. So welcome to the Best Diet Plan Workshop. Like I said in my description, I found something that really helped me understand calorie surplus, calorie deficit, and macros for protein, carbs, and fat, and just includes everything, and everything's free. So um, the last time I got all my numbers was this summer, so I wanted to do an update because my body's changed and my fitness goals have changed. And so I wanted to bring you guys along. Can you guys hear me okay? Can someone confirm if you guys could hear me? Changed. And so I wanted to bring you guys along. Okay, I'm gonna assume that you guys could hear me. Okay, well, today, let me see, where's my slide? For today, we are going to do this together. If you guys go ahead and in your laptop, if you're streaming from your laptop, if you could go to acaloriecounter.com/diet, where I'm gonna get all the information, and it'll be really nice if you guys could follow along. Where'd it go? Okay. Okay, so it looks like you guys are, I don't know, because no one's really confirming what they're doing. Can someone confirm if you guys have went to that website? Okay, I'm gonna move on. So, okay, so that's where the tool is at, and it's free. So the agenda, I wanted to go ahead and give you an introduction of my background and why I'm doing this and what you could get from this workshop. And also, even if it's an hour, since you already know the tool right here, it's all self-paced and you could go there and read everything and you could do everything on your own, but I thought it'd be nice if we do it all together. So if you've already known what you needed, which is the tool, then you could go ahead and do it on your own at your own pace. But we'll be going over it together. So the overview, to go over just how to use the tool effectively, and because it's very cumbersome and that it's very comprehensive, and so I wanted to show like how I used it. And then we'll go ahead and use the tool together to get our calorie maintenance level, and which means the calorie your body needs to hit that goal you have. And we'll also go over what kinds of goals you could set for your body type. And again, I want to urge you guys to write in the chat if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions or any feedback or any thoughts while we're doing this, because the whole point of this live stream is to have discussion together and to build healthier habits and know the things we're putting into our body and how it affects our health. So definitely chime in the chat box. All you have to do is just type into the chat box, and then I could see it, and then we could talk. Let's do that. And before we actually get started, I want to encourage you guys to follow me on Instagram. It's Jen_WON. I have all of my updates of my upcoming videos on Instagram. I'm active on Instagram, so definitely go follow me there if you haven't already, and subscribe to my channel because I'll be uploading every Monday and Friday. Today I'm gonna have a new video out, so stay tuned. So that's it for slides. Well, let's go back to the agenda. So introduction. Hi, my name is Jennifer, and for those of you tuning in, you guys might be people I already know in real life. Maybe, I don't know, because no one's saying anything yet. I wanted to really understand the relationship I have with food. This past summer, like I usually like when I eat, I just eat something very sweet, or I don't eat that often. And I really like burgers, but it's like a weekend thing. So there was no real uh like science to what I was eating. I just ate whenever I wanted to, and if I wanted to lose weight, then I wouldn't eat as much. I never had like a science to it until this past summer when I came across this tool, and it really helped me understand for my body type and my body weight and my goal of trying to be healthier and build muscle, how I could do that. And there's a science around it, and I got to learn about it. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And because I'm trying to find out what those numbers are for my body type right now, since I've lost so much weight, I wanted to bring you guys along. So that's my story there. I'm actually in California, and it's raining today, so it's really cold, which is why I have like warm right here. But I'm really excited for us to get started. So let's go ahead and open up. I'm gonna open up this tool right here. Let me go ahead and do that. Hold on. Do that. Let me see if, let's see. Hold on, the tool. There's the tool. How many of you guys are watching? 3 of you guys are tuning in. Thanks so much for joining. If you joined, we just went over the agenda of how I'm gonna structure this hour with you guys. The main goal of this live stream is for us to all learn together of how to be building healthier eating habits and knowing what that means for you specifically. So we're gonna get to it. So this is the tool. Let me see if I'm streaming the right thing. Yes. Okay, so again, if you wanted to follow along instead of looking at the at my screen, then you could listen and you could have it open on your screen too. It's again acaloriecounter.com/diet/. So as you can see, there's a lot of text, but this blogger had Asian in trying to find out the science of the food that we eat, and he just wanted to explain everything for people like me who don't know anything about nutrition other than sweets are bad but it tastes good and it makes you crash later. Like, I didn't really know the science behind it, so he helps people like me understand from scratch what types of food you should have for your body type. Okay, so a lot of text. He explains what his structure is and how he designed it. So as you can see, I'm going to just give you an overview. He gives a very broad overview of what diet plan means. And it's not just for weight loss. It's not just for muscle gain. There's a specific science to it and reasons why for your body type you should have a specific goal. And so he talks about that. He goes over what calories actually mean. And that really helped me a lot because even though I kind of knew what calories were, I didn't exactly know that it meant like energy or like I didn't know what exactly it was, but he explains it right there. He goes into further detail of after we find out what our calorie intake should be for our body weight and for our ideal body type. He goes into how we find out how much protein needs and for each person. So this isn't general, like generalizations of, hold on, I think there's something going on. Okay. He doesn't make generalizations. He makes it very like a mathematical equation where you could find out these numbers for yourself. So I'm really excited to share that with you. So protein were the different types of fat. So when you look at the nutrition facts on labels, they have like saturated fat, trans fat. He goes over what all that means for your body and what percentage or what number you need to take in for each one and which ones are healthy, which ones are unhealthy. Are you guys watching? Yeah, you guys watching. And then carbs, he goes over that. We all know about carbs. We know they're bad, but there's also different types of carbs. So he explains which ones are good, which ones are bad, and what everything means, and for what food. So that was really insightful for me too. What's really cool about Bull is he also talks about like practicalities of how to structure your life around the number you're aiming for. And so he talks about like cheat meals, like best foods for your diet, da da da. So it's really cool. He also talks about the food you should have pre and post workout. So after, like, let's say you do like me, like an intense 10-minute ab workout, then should I eat before and after, or do I eat just after? So he goes over those things here, and like what signs you should look for if you're pushing it too much in your exercise, and like how much protein he goes over all that. He also goes over supplements, which I think when you get in your late 20s, you start to have supplements. So he goes over each one, like protein powder, fish oil, multivitamins, creatine. I didn't know what creatine was until I read this, and at the time my boyfriend was talking to me about this, and I'm like, what is that, and why is that different than protein powder? So he taught all that, and then he gives a sample of, is this working? Yeah. He gives a sample of diet that other people have put together and what that looks like for each different goal. So that's the overview. So I'm gonna go over. I want to give a disclaimer. So I'm not a nutritionist, and like the only thing I'm basing it off of is off of this guide. But I, like, from using it this summer, I've built so many healthier habits and just am more knowledgeable of nutrition through this. So I want to reiterate that I'm getting all my information from here, and I'm gonna read this part because I think it's important. So this plan, it's for anyone who wants to create a diet plan that works best for their exact goal and fit perfectly with their exact preferences. And yes, it's all for it's for anyone, like beginners. I still consider myself a beginner, but I think it'll be interesting to go through this process together again. Whether it's you're looking to lose fat or build muscle, just be healthy, or just make your diet easier, more enjoyable, or you want to improve the way your body looks. So it's for anyone who is interested in bettering themselves and being healthy. So now that I did the overview, I want to go over the numbers now. So since this is a lot of information, I do encourage you guys to go in depth on your own, but I wanted to highlight the numbers part so we could get our numbers right. So how many of you are, oh, there's only 2 of you now. Let's see. Are you guys familiar with calories, or do you guys want to go over it? Like, are you guys familiar with what calories are? And it seems as though our viewers do not like to use the chat. But that's okay. I'll go over it anyways. So if you click onto these links, they go into a lot of depth information about the topics, right? And so he talks about here, what does your total daily intake mean? Like, what does that even mean, calories? And he says everything we eat and drink contains calories, obviously. And he refers to that as calories in. Calories out means everything that you burn. This could be burning from weight training, cardio, standing, when you're talking, brushing your teeth. So this is important because he shows how shows the cause and effect and the result of those cause and effects. So if the more calories you eat, or you eat more calories than you actually burn, then that's considered a caloric surplus, and that means you're gaining muscle or you're gaining fat or you're doing both. That makes sense, right? If you are burning more calories than you're actually intaking, which happened to me the last 2 months, that's considered a caloric deficit. It's when you lose or you have fat loss, muscle loss, or both. For me, I had a huge caloric deficit because I haven't been able to eat, which is unhealthy. I'm trying to be healthy now. So I've lost actually a lot of muscle. I've lost a lot of fat, which is a given, but I've lost a lot of muscle. So it's getting to the point where it's getting scary. So, yeah, so that, and then the maintenance is when everything stays the same. You eat as much as you burn. So that's just an overview of calories. This is interesting too. So a lot of people have questions about if you have a caloric surplus. So if you eat more food, burn the calories, where does it go? Like, does it go to your fat? Does it go to your muscle? So it could go both ways. If it goes to your fat, then yeah, it goes to your fat or it goes to your muscle. It says, let's see. What causes the excess calories to be stored as muscle instead of fat? And he said there needs to be an intelligently designed workout routine that effectively proves to your body that muscle needs to be built. So doing workouts, doing very targeted workouts are going to help you build that muscle. And it's not going to go to making you gain more weight. This is one takeaway. If your primary goal is to build muscle, then there has to be a caloric surplus. And that might be scary and that you think you're going to gain weight, but you really need, if you want to build muscle, you have to eat more. So, and opposite way, if you have a caloric deficit, so if you're burning more energy than you're eating, then it gets stored as body fat. Or no. Like, your body needs energy from somewhere because you're not getting enough energy from the food you eat. So it actually targets your body fat while you lose fat. It also targets your muscle tissue, which happened to me. So you lose a lot of muscle tissue if you don't have enough calories. So, takeaway here, if your primary goal is losing fat, then there must be a caloric deficit. This is a given, right? And for maintenance, it's the same. So now that we covered calories, let's go into actual calculator. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? We're actually gonna get numbers down. Okay, so I have my pen here. Okay, so he says, daily calorie intake is by most important part of your diet plan, no matter what your goal is. So I think a lot of people that don't understand, like people didn't really understand why people count their calories. I thought it was unhealthy that they do that because it limits you from doing certain things, but that's because these people know why they need to take a certain amount of calories, right? For their goal, like whether it's to lose fat or to build muscle. So in order, first of all, my goal is to gain weight and to build muscle. So that's my goal, which means I have to get I have to eat more. So this is the equation we're going to use. He gives 3 different methods you could find your ideal calorie intake for your body type. So right now, I want you guys to look at this method right here. I have a paper right here. So you know your body weight right now in pounds, times that by 14. So for me, don't be scared, or don't be concerned. It's 102. So 102 times 14. That's gonna come out to 1428. So you guys should get that number, and then after also multiply your body weight to 17. So I got, if I do 102 times 17, it's 1734. Okay, are you guys doing that? I really wish you guys would write chat. That would be awesome. But it's okay if you can't. Okay, so now you have two numbers. You have your body weight times 14. So for me, it's 1428. And then the second number is 1734. Okay. Now he says that's your daily calorie maintenance level. So the range between the lowest number and the highest number. Okay, so if you're female, older, less active, let's just say you're a female and you're less active and you think you have like a slow metabolism, then stick to the lower estimate of your numbers. So my lower would be 48 or 1428, right? I would say I'm like active because I'm being active every day. So I would say I'm gonna use the number towards the higher one. So I would say like between 1428 and 1734, I would just put like 1600 for my calorie intake, okay? And if you're male and you're very active and you have fast metabolism, then stick more towards the higher end of the estimate. Okay. So did you guys get that? I really wish I could get some confirmation. But okay. And then as you could see, like this tool is really cool because I'm not reading it word for word, but he's very conversational when he explains everything, and he makes you come up with these numbers. Okay, so now he says the most important step is you have a good idea of your daily calorie maintenance level. So mine's 1600. I don't know what yours is, but like the in between the lowest and the highest, like what yours would be. And he said, don't worry about your estimate being 100% accurate because it's gonna become perfect in the next step. So yeah, so now depending on your goal, if you want to lose fat, you want to click on this. If you wanted to build muscle, you click on this. If you want to maintain your weight, you click on this. I'm gonna click build muscle. Okay, so if you're doing this on your own, try to go to that link. So he explains what it means to want, or he explains everything about caloric surplus for weight and building muscle. So creating your ideal caloric surplus. Okay, so if I use this method he's gonna tell me soon, I'm gonna be maximizing my muscle gains and minimizing fat. Yes, that is what I want. He says we have there are two main factors that dictate what the ideal size of the caloric surplus should be. Surplus needs to be big enough to build muscle, yeah, as effectively as possible. Surplus needs to be small enough to avoid, yeah. So it says we have to be very specific on how much we take in. Here it is. How many calories should I eat a day to build muscle? So for men, you want to add an additional 250 calories per day to that number we got earlier. For women, for me, add 125 to what you got. So I'm going to do 1600 plus 125. I have 1725 so far. This is for building muscle. And this is just calorie. It's not specific to any, it's not saying anything about how much I have to take for the other types of nutrition. So he breaks it down. If you're a guy with a daily calorie level of 2,000 calories, you should now eat about 2250. That makes sense, right? Because you add 250. So that the ideal rate of weight gain. Okay, so he gives like a context of what it would look like if you want to gain like a half a pound per week. Let's see. Men looking to build muscle should aim to gain about a half a pound per week, which is going to be 2 pounds per month. Okay. Here it is. How to guarantee you're eating the right amount of calories per day. First, you learn what the ideal caloric surplus is. Then you use that information to adjust your estimated calorie maintenance level and exactly how many calories you need to eat per day to build muscle. And then we learned what the ideal rate of weight gain is. Yep. Any answers frequently asked questions like, what if I plateau and I stop gaining muscle or weight? Depending on how much muscle you're looking to build, it's possible that some people may eventually reach a point where they are no longer gaining weight at ideal rate. If this happens, you have to increase your current daily calorie intake by about 250. So if you feel like you've plateaued, like things staying the same, even if you're eating that increase of 250 calories for guys, then you want to increase it by 250 again, okay? Now we get into macros. And macros are comprised of 3 categories: protein, carbs, and fat. So we're first gonna go into protein. I'm really excited about this because I really want to know how much I have to take in because my body changed. Are you guys still following me? Or are you guys still watching? Okay. Is it because I didn't make it public? Hold on. No, I'm pretty sure I made it public. Hold on, sorry. Let me... How do I save? It's okay, I'll do that later. OBS, okay. Okay, so protein. By the way, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to write in the chat box. And yeah, write in the chat box. Or if you don't feel comfortable, then you could also message me on my Facebook or DM me on Instagram or something. Like, feel free to chime in. Okay, so now we're going into protein. Okay, let's read this together. What does protein do? In terms of the overall health and function of the human body, protein is essential for building and repairing things. Your organs, muscles, skin, hair, nails, bones, and certain hormones are all made up of some amount of protein. It's an absolute requirement for sustaining life and proper function. Basically, you kind of need enough of it on a daily basis to actually live and be healthy. Of course, if you're reading this, you're probably less interested in protein's role in overall health, interested in how protein will help you lose fat, build muscle. Okay. How does protein help you with losing fat? While a caloric deficit is the only absolute requirement for fat to be lost, protein still plays many extremely important roles in fat loss process. Maintaining muscle. Losing fat requires a caloric deficit, yes. Because, okay, yeah, he's repeating himself. Your body could just as easily decide to burn your muscle tissue instead. As you probably guessed, that would be a bad thing. Your goal is to get your body to burn nothing but fat and leave all your pretty muscle alone. That's so true. And how do you get to that? Well, it turns out that a sufficient amount of protein on a daily basis is the key dietary factor in getting your body to preserve your muscle and burn fat instead. Yes, it's even more important than the size of caloric deficit itself. So if your goal is to lose fat and not lose any muscle in the process, getting your daily protein, I also brought what I have. Daily protein intake right is pretty dang important. I will go over that later. Okay, but you guys are here to get your numbers. Okay. For those of you who have just joined, thank you so much for joining in. We've covered getting the number of our total calorie that we need to intake just for our energy level or our body weight. And right now we're going into proteins, like how much protein you should have. How many grams of protein you should have. Okay. And we're also learning what protein actually does to the body. A second major role protein plays in fat loss is one of satiation. Okay, we don't actually read that. Okay, this might be very interesting to you guys. A third major role protein plays a huge role in losing fat revolves around its thermogenic properties. What does that mean? Because in addition to being the most filling macronutrient, protein is also one of the largest thermic effects. So he's going to explain it into layman's terms. When all food gets digested, your body actually burns calories during that digestion period. Okay, when food gets digested, your body actually burns calories during that digestion period. Okay, this is referred to as the thermic effect of food, and it's one of those factors he mentioned earlier that influence what your daily calorie maintenance level is. Different foods have different thermic effects, which means some foods will actually cause more calories to be burned during digestion than others. And what all research shows is that protein requires the most amount of calories to digest. Okay, wait, let's say that again. What all research shows is that protein requires the most amount of calories to digest, which means eating protein on a daily basis will actually lead to more calories naturally being burned by your body. Eating more protein on a daily basis will actually lead to more calories naturally being burned by your body. But just increasing your daily protein take won't create enough of an extra calorie burn to cause significant sustained fat. However, it will definitely help. Okay. So he talks about the science of that too. Here, you could go over that later. So now we're getting the numbers. So how much protein should I eat per day? Okay, here we go. By the way, if you're just joining or you're new, feel free to write in the chat if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions and your thoughts. Right now, we're trying to figure out how much protein per day we need per day to build muscle, lose fat, or be healthy. Here it is. Ideal daily protein intake. You multiply 0.8 to 1.5 grams of protein per body weight. Okay, so before we get into that calculation, let's read different situations. If you're an average healthy adult that does not work out or have any related goals, this is just what I consider to be a good minimum daily protein. Okay, so if you're not really that active but you want to be healthy, multiply. Let's just go with the higher one. Multiply this by your body weight, and that's the amount of. Okay, so let's just pretend you are. So I'm 102 times 0.7. What would that be? 102 times 0.7. I would need 71 if I didn't work out at all but I still wanted to be healthy. I would have 71 grams of protein every day. Okay? So multiply that by your body weight if that's you. If you're a average healthy adult that is doing some form of exercise and you're trying to improve your body, then multiply your body weight by 1. Let's do 1. Okay, so I need 102 grams of protein if that's me. So go ahead and do that if that's you. Hi, thanks so much for joining. We'll go over what your recommended amount of protein per day is based on your goals. So if you're an average adult female and you have the primary goal of building muscle and getting toned while losing fat, you want to multiply your body weight by 1.2. I always go by the highest just because it's better to have more than less. So 1.2 times, for me, it's 1.2 times 102. Sorry. My face changes, I guess. Okay. So 102 times 1.2. So for you guys, you would do your body weight times 1.2 if you're an average healthy female with a goal of building muscle. So for me, oh my god, times 1.2. I would need to have 120, I should have wrote a list, 102.4 grams of protein each day. This is me. I want to build muscle, like be healthy and like build muscle again. So, muscle. If you're, okay, last one. If you're an average healthy male who's, I don't know how to say that, like who's not average health, like what do other people do? I don't know. Anyways, if you're a male and your goal is to build muscle, which is probably all of you, I think, I don't know. Multiply your body weight by 1.5, and that should be your the number of grams of protein you should have every day. Okay. Let's see. And then he gives a hack. When in doubt, it's like old standby recommendation. Multiply 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you're 210 pounds, then you should have 210 grams of protein every day to maintain your physique. And you want to multiply it by 1.5 grams or 1.5 if you want to build muscle. You always want to go higher. Oh my goodness. Again, if you're joining just now, please feel free to write in the chat. Yeah, so there we go. That's your, and then he gives examples of high protein foods. So chicken, turkey, fish, beef, pork, whole eggs, egg white, protein supplements like protein powder, protein bars, all that stuff. What time is it? We only have a couple minutes left. Okay, so yeah, so blah, blah, blah. Now let's go over fat. So I'm going to wrap this up really fast. I'm just going to skip over. I'm not going to go too in depth. You guys could go through this on your own. Let's get through all of the numbers though. So he goes over the different types of fat. There's trans fat, saturated fat, monounsaturated fat, unsaturated fat. Sorry about the very fast scrolling. I really want to get this done with you guys. I know it's Friday and I'm really glad you guys are watching. Okay, so he goes over the different types of fat, right? So trans fat, And he said worst thing you could possibly wait. Yeah, it's the worst of the fats you could possibly eat, and he says to avoid it completely. So examples of foods that are high in trans fat: fried foods, fast food. Think of foods that make you get very tired. Donuts, various pastries, crappy food you already know you shouldn't be eating too often. And he gives like pointer. Okay, I'm not supposed to go too in depth, so let's see. He goes over hydrogenated, partially hydrogenated. So everything is defined in here. And again, if you're joining us right now, everything is available on. Can you guys see the no? Here, let me get you to the slide. So this is the link of the tool. You could find all the information that we talk about today here, and he gives a step-by-step plan of how you could find out your total calorie that you need to, the total calorie maintenance level, or the total number of calories you need to eat for your body weight, and for your ideal body type. And he goes over how much protein, how many grams of protein you need to intake to reach your goal. He goes over the fat. He goes over the carbs. He goes over all the information about supplements and protein powder and how much of it you need and what type influences your body in a certain way and all that. So everything's available here, and it's free. It's like a textbook, but it's all, yeah, so go there and check it out. This live stream was to create a discussion around how we go about this and what you guys are doing to figure this out. So yeah, okay, so back to our numbers. So far we have the number of calories we need to have for our body. The second thing we found was the total grams of protein you need to take for your ideal body type or your goal. And now we're going over fat. Okay. So again, he goes over all the different types of fats. Like, what is the difference between saturated fat and unsaturated? He goes over it. And he like tells you the foods that are high in saturated fat and what that means. So go over that on your own time. He goes over monosaturated fat, polyunsaturated. I have to revisit this too because I totally like forgot what everything is. So I'm gonna go over this later. Omega-6. I'm guessing this is the good one. So we're just trying to get. There we go. How much fat per day? How many grams of fat should you eat? Okay, let's get to this. At this point, you know quite a bit about your daily fat intake. It could both negatively and positively affect your body, your health, and overall goal of your diet. Okay, so he gives an overview. That's good. Trans fat is garbage and should be avoided completely. Saturated fat isn't as bad as people have made it out to be and definitely shouldn't be avoided completely. Monosaturated fat and polyunsaturated fat, which also includes essential fatty acids, should comprise the majority. Okay, now let's get to omega-3 is good. Okay, here it is. How much fat should you eat per day? Okay, let's see that range. So the ideal daily fat intake is 20 to 30% of your total calorie intake. Okay, in order for this to truly make sense, the first thing you need is 1 gram of fat contains 9 calories. Okay, so he's going to explain how we do that. Okay, so from there, you just need to do some basic math using the ideal daily calorie intake. So the first number we came up with in the beginning, mine was 1600. Okay. So now it says at that number, follow the appropriate instructions for creating your ideal caloric deficit or surplus. So we went over the surplus together. If you went the other route, you clicked on the link for deficit, use that number that you got. So for me, if I add the surplus I needed to build muscle, it was my daily intake should be 1600, right? That was the first number I got. The second one is I added wait, was it 250? No, then sorry. So for women, it's 125. So I added 125, which is makes it out to be 7,725. That's me for caloric surplus for me. Then they say all you need to figure out what 20 to 30% of that is. I'm gonna just go with the lowest. No, let's do the highest because I eat a lot of like butter and stuff. So 30%. What's 30% of 1725? For those of you guys that are watching are kind of confused, it might be because let's see. I think it's self-explanatory. If you have any questions, definitely type in your questions on the chat box, or you can reach out to me on any of my social media that you follow me on if you're uncomfortable sharing your thoughts. Let's see. Okay, so I'm right here, this step. If you guys are following along, I am on the outline. I'm on how much fat should you eat per day, and I'm right here. So I have the ideal daily calorie intake, which is 1725, and then I need to figure out what 30% of that is. So just multiply your calorie intake by 0.3. So 1725 times 0.3. So mine is 517.5. And then he says, then since 1 gram of fat contains 9 calories, just divide both your answers by 9. So I'm going to divide 517 by 9. That's 57. 57.5. What is this? Calories. The amount you get now is the ideal range for how many grams of fat you should eat each day. So when he says range, I guess he wants us to do both 20% and 30%. So I'm going to do that. 1725 times 0.2. That's, oh my gosh, 345. And then divide that by 9. 38. 38 to 57.5 calories of fat. That's my ideal. Are you guys following along? Oh my gosh. Okay. The amount you get now is the ideal range. Okay, yeah. If you're confused, he also explains how to do it right here. I got that. Your daily fat intake is now figured out. Should you use the high or low end of your range? Now you may be wondering if you should stay more towards the higher or lower. 724. I'm like obsessed with numbers. Okay, I know we're coming to the last few minutes. We're almost done here. How to factor fat into your total calorie intake. So we already went through that. Okay, daily carb intake. Last one. We could do this. And I also want to share the tools that I use to help manage all these numbers. Okay? And then we could end there. Thank you so much for tuning in, 2 of you. I don't know if you guys are the same 2 people tuning in from the beginning, but thank you. I hope you guys are gaining something from this. Okay, so daily carb intake. How carbs affect your body, health, and diet. You could read that on your own. We all know that we get sleepy when we have carbs, but yeah, he describes what happens when you eat carbs. Does eating carbs make you fat? He actually says it doesn't. Okay, so he talks about what carbs are, what's healthy, what's not, what's sensible. Okay, where's the numbers? Okay, 5 more minutes. We could do this. Yeah, so a lot of good information, but oh, here it is. How many grams of carbs should I eat per day? There we go. Oh my god. How many? Okay, here it is. However much is needed to meet your ideal calorie intake after an ideal protein. Okay, whatever that means. Meaning total calorie intake miss. Okay, there's the formula. I need colors because I like did math. So that's my fat. That's my ideal calorie intake. So my ideal or my calorie intake is 1600. No. We have to add 125. So 1725 minus calories from protein and fat. Calories from protein and fat. So okay, what's interesting is we got the number of grams of protein, but not the calories. Wait. They're the same thing, aren't they? Yeah. Wait. I'm getting confused. Wait, he said confused, don't be. Wait, hold on. At this point, you figured out how many yeah. You then fit into your ideal, remember? Since 1 gram of carb, oh, here it is. So 1 gram of carb contains 4 calories. So don't mix match grams and calories because we got the number of, wait, oh my gosh, I'm confusing myself. Okay, what are the need? Okay, let's just calories from we're coming up to our last 3 minutes, guys. Protein and fat. Okay, so the number that we got for protein I think was grams and not calorie. Oh, wait, here it is. 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. So what's the number you got for protein by 4? So mine was 122.4. 122.4 times, he says for 1 gram of protein it's 4 calories. So multiply that by 4. So 122. For those of you that are just joining in, thanks so much for tuning in the last few minutes. You could check out we're getting all this from acaloriecounter.com/diet/. So you can find all this information. We're coming up to our last 2 minutes, people. Okay, times 4. So that's 489.6 calories of protein. Okay, we got that. Calories from protein and fat. Okay, so how many calories? Oh yeah. So the higher, remember we had the range for the fat? For the 30%, I'll go with 30% to 57.5. So 57.5. And for fat, we calculated the calories, not grams. So you subtract, I'm right here. You subtract total calorie intake, mine's total is 1725, minus calories from protein, which we calculated to be 489.6 calories. That, which means you add to 57.5. Last minute, but I will be here still. 489.6 plus 11.5. That's 547.1. So, okay, finally, we're going to subtract 1725 from the addition of those two things. So, 547.1. I have 1,000. Really? Is that right? I guess so. That's a lot of carbs I could eat. See, that's why we do the things we do. Calories. So, guys, after doing all the math, I could have 1,177 calories of carbs every day. What? Really? I mean, I guess that makes... Oh, wait. 1 gram... 1 gram of 4 pounds. Oh, wait, never mind. You just have to divide this leftover amount of calories by 4 to figure out how many grams of carbs you need to eat each day. Okay, so that's calories. So divide that amount by 4. Oh, that's it? Okay. I could only have 200, that's still a lot. 294.5 grams of fat. I mean, carbs. Okay. Okay, I need to circle these because there's so many numbers. Okay. Okay. And if you're confused, he goes over an example of how he did it for another person. So you could go through that, and then it talks about like good carbs, what's next. So I'm gonna give you, it's already 1 minute past the end time, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you again and a brief summary of the last few parts. So as you could see, believe it or not, within this past hour, we went through all this together. We went through the main things you need to know going into having a diet. And we went over our daily intake of calorie that we need to be a healthy, functioning person. And then we found out how much grams of protein we need for our bodies to do what we want it to do, whether it's to lose fat or to gain weight or to build muscle. We found out how many grams of fat you could intake to reach your goal. We found carbs. We didn't get to this, which is okay because it's all extra information that'll help you, but you could go through it on your own time. So he talks about pre-workout nutrition, supplements, and examples of how people put these numbers into action and everything. So everything is here. The links are here. I hope you guys were able to get something from this and learn things. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna share one more tool with you. So I've been using the app called MyFitnessPal, and it's an app that I don't know if they have it on Android, but for iOS they have and again, it's called MyFitnessPal. Let me go ahead and show you. By the way, look at that. I lost 24 pounds. That's insane. And I'm not saying it to like brag. I'm just saying it's really sad. I have to gain weight and build muscle. Okay, so I want to show you something really quick before letting you guys go. How do I get to my profile? Why isn't it working? Okay. Food. Okay. So, oh no, why isn't it letting me look at my... Okay, so diary. So I didn't get this today, but so I'll show you tomorrow's. So what's really cool about this app is, I don't know if you could see the screen, but remember when we went over the protein and the fat and the carbs? So you could personalize your diary where you enter in everything you eat, and it counts the calories for you. If you're not sure, you could use the nutrition facts in the back and then input it manually, but usually someone else put in this for you. And it's okay if it's not exact, like it's not accurate like to the T, unless you're really like really obsessed about that. But I really like using this because, oh my gosh, because they have like a section for carbs, fat, protein, and the number of grams that you have left to intake that. So what I'm gonna do with these numbers that we got today, I'm gonna input it here as my goals. And in the beginning of the day, when I start the day, it's gonna have the number of grams I could have of each category, and then the total number of calories I have left to eat. So this makes, like right here, the total amount of daily calorie intake from this past summer used to be for me for gaining muscle 1700, but because my body I've lost so much weight and lost muscle, my daily calorie intake has changed. That's why I wanted to do this, because I need new numbers. Like, I can't eat like more than that, but or more than this, but I don't want to go overboard. Like, I want to make it a healthy plan for me. So anyways, because right here in 100 right now, my daily is, wait, actually that's similar. Anyways, and it divides it by different meals. So breakfast and the total number of calories you have. It's just awesome. And then you could also input like the number of cups of water you have and take. I love MyFitnessPal. Their free version is also very helpful. I got the premium just because I wanted more insights into my week or month or eventually yearly. So, and I think premium is like $20, I think, for a year. I think. I could be wrong. But yeah, so MyFitnessPal. Also, I wanted to share my protein powder. So this one is plant-based. By the way, the two of you that are watching, thank you so much for tuning in and like spending your Friday night with me. This is awesome. This is Organic. You can find it on Amazon. It's very affordable. I think this one was like $20, and it lasts me about, because I have it almost every day. I think it lasts me like 3 months, 2 months, 3 months. This was created. It's plant-based, and it was created by a cancer survivor, and he is also a doctor, and he put together healthy ingredients and made it very tasty too. If you want to try the plant-based protein shake, this is really good. And I also include this for better tasting protein shake. This is called PB2, and it has less calories than actual peanut butter. It just tastes so good with like a combination with the protein powder. And this helps with acne and with not acne, pimply, and it just helps a lot. So do that. I wanted to share something. So at Whole Foods, they have this. I know we're kind of over time. Really want to share so much with you guys. So while you guys are here, I'm gonna share. The Whole Foods market has, in California, they have pancakes that are it tastes really good. This one tastes really good. So this one's the oh my god, why doesn't it say it? I think it's the, actually it's not this one. The banana one tastes really good. But they have let's see, hold on. Protein. I thought I had a lot of protein in it. Anyways, you just need water, and it only takes like 1 scoop, and it just tastes so good, and it's healthy for you. It's gluten-free. It is no sugar added, but it's still sweet. I don't know how. Gluten-free, grain-free, dairy-free, low glycemic. It's really good. So try this. Also, for those of you who are, oh my gosh, the two that are watching, thank you so much for still staying with me. Maca powder is something you could get online. I think I got this from, I forgot what the website was called, but look up maca powder. It's really good for your endurance and for stress and fatigue. For fatigue, this is so good, and you only need a little amount per day. So, and it's good to like put it in your protein powder or protein shake, or put it in your yogurt smoothies. So good. But those are the consistent things I've been having since like starting this this best diet since this summer. And yeah, so it's been helping me a lot and putting things into perspective for me. But I'm really glad I got my numbers. I hope you guys did too. Make sure to, again, follow me on Instagram, Jen_1, and also subscribe to my channel. I'm so excited for this next year because I'm so ready to be like even more healthier and just share my message and hopefully get to connect with you guys. So definitely reach out to me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a really relaxing Friday. Okay. Bye, guys.